What y'all doing over there? Hey, about to go make me some coffee. I already know they be waiting to try to tell people we live. What y'all doing? So y'all, I'm really thinking that we are connected, or at least feel the, I believe it's barometric pressure. Because everybody was talking about their legs, and I was telling y'all my knees and stuff been hurting. But think about all of the, I need to blow my nose too. This rain and all of that is kicking. I don't know. Might be whatever they put in the, what's the name? I've been waking up with gunk in my throat and everything. Um, hey, what was I going to say? Oh, I think our bodies are, I'm sure they probably are affected by the barometric pressure. And I think that's why everybody knees and back and stuff been feeling like, you know, because everybody was talking about their knees. I know my knees been killing me. And I'm thinking that the pressure from like the rain and all of that kind of stuff, this hobby in a tub, just look over it, it's fine. Listen, hey sister, hola, hola. My daughter was released today from the hospital. Thank you, Jesus. He's still a healer. He is still a healer, honey, in every way. Hey. Ooh. I wasn't going to come on here. Sorry about last night, y'all. I know I was supposed to come back, but I was kind of exhausted mentally, you know? And so then I just laid in my bed. So I've been teaching a lot of long classes. And I chilled out, did some laundry today, took the trash out. You know that kind of stuff that we supposed to do. Hey. Hola, hola. So did y'all go watch Atlantis last night? Atlantis 2? Hopefully y'all saw something in there too. It kind of makes you angry that we've been watching TV all these years and they put the truth right in front of us. And we were just too lazy to go look and see. Hey. Hey, Trina. Hey. Ain't that crazy? Cartoons. Didn't I tell y'all they tell the kids the truth? They mix in a little bit of funniness, but yeah. They be telling them babies the truth. Because they know they gonna believe it. They see it. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Hola, hola. You said thinking it had no real meaning. Come on, Miss Howard. Now you can't watch a show without saying, seriously? It's right in front of my face the whole freaking time. Hey, Steph. That's what I told y'all. People quit wanting to watch TV with me about 2010 or 11. Got real bad around 2014, 15, 16. Yeah, and then just watch TV. Like, I don't even watch movies with my kids. I'll put my headphones on and I might be looking up at it, but for what? Because I'm going to tell y'all where this really come from, and then y'all going to say whatever, and then I'm going to put my headphones on and get a book. That's what I'm going to do. Or go find something that's really teaching me something. It's hard to watch TV that I don't know. It's like, mindless behavior is not something that I want to do anymore, especially in the time that we're in. right? So I want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all remember us studying about locusts and reading in the sibling oracles and different things, and it talking about I started with Atlantis 1 first, then I'm going to Atlantis 2. Oh, okay. You said I called it you said when they said Leviathan was an entrance. Oh, Rika. Oh, Rika. Did you see what was up in the Southwest? Did that pique your interest any, sister? Okay. Did it? What happened in the Southwest when they went up there? What you see? Matter of fact, it wasn't too. Hey, girl. Hi, Sarah. Hey. Hey. Listen. So if you got to watch the movie, there she go. Niece, did you make it without biting anything? You said the Old Norse is all over that movie. Shoot, it's everything I've been watching lately. You said the Nancy spirit. Listen, isn't it crazy how they tell the kids the truth? Because they know your belief as a kid is strong. They know you're gonna repeat what you hear. That is not by design. And now y'all understand why. I don't care how cute they make the movie look. I'm listening. You said me and Kay watched it. It was all so connected, girl. Crazy, right? The names be real. The places be real. Mm. The beings be real. Hello. You said, now remember Kay had that dream the other day about the islands rising out of the earth. He sure did. Girl. And they said it's a city down there. So the whole civilization. We seen it with LL Cool J and the Big Shark people. You said I started this anime called Demons in the Shadowland. You said I'm taking notes as I watch. I can't wait to share. Come on, nephew. You know we ready. You said oh boy was dropping gems on what to put in it. Girl. You said yes, they know exactly what they're doing. Crazy. And there's so much more out there that we've just this is do you understand now? Like I said, we got eyes but we don't see. I can't tell you how many times I watched those videos with my little cousins and different people, growing up, like, I think those came out around the time my niece and them was like 2 or 3 years old. So I probably was like 13 or 14, something like that. I don't know. And then watched them with my kids. My boy Milo must have been a co-founder of WRU because he definitely be outside with it and is. And is. Wow, that's crazy. I believe it though. You said, and the hieroglyphics was on it. You said, and that guy was a magistrate. Oh, okay. Oh, now, after figuring out what we figured out yesterday, does it make sense how they know? I mean, because think about it. Magisterium, come on. AKA the Catholic Church. Okay. Okay. Listen, the devil place where they got the snake and all the cardinals meet there under the snake. Right? So think about this. Is Atlantis gone? Or is it right in our face and we've been looking at it like blue? Because remember, we read that Atlantis is in between Africa and South America. We read this in class. I don't know when, but I know it's been since we've been here, that they were able to walk. And it connected South America and Africa. And we literally saw the land yesterday. how they did it. They didn't have to take no. When it says they spread out into the earth, now we know how it happened. Because even if it was just one piece all at once, God still let it connect. You said it's in our faces. It is. You said, and that stretch of faded land on the map is right between those places. If you look closer, it stretches all the way up to Greenland. Oh, no, I did. Oh, no, I did. Oh, no, I did. I definitely did. Oh, yeah. No. I said, wait a minute. This goes straight up. Yes, baby, I did. I did. And that's why I said, like, the whole Russia thing. So when they tell us, oh, they got to get over here by the water, they be lying. The Odin had the spear of destiny. I said, hold up, how he get it right? The one from Jesus that poked Jesus. Ain't that interesting? Especially when they went underwater, how everything was connected. I think it was the part of the Magellan book we read when they walked from one place to another. Listen, I don't know where we read it, but baby, I said, look here. We have been lied to. But can I ask you a question? Who told them to hide the land? The librarians. You said hid it so they could sell it as imaginary. Girl, you said, oh, in the theory, how the big snake, you said lies in South, you said, oh, in the theory, how the big snake lines are in South America. Listen, it's a real thing. We was reading about some city that was in all white. You said they had librarians that break bills too, the magicians. Listen, the magistrate thinking people can't handle. Listen, y'all, I just want to know how the teachers that taught geography, history, whatever, when every time they put that map up there, they didn't point out to us that that was there. They eyes didn't see it either. The people teaching archaeology and paleontology, they didn't. None of them seen it either. Girl, that goes to show you, right, that most of the world is blind. Because I know I'm 46 years old. I've looked at so many maps, it's unreal. And I never seen that until yesterday. You can tell a person something and only show them and only put colors on certain things, and they will never see what is right in front of them. Do you hear me? Charles, go away. Go do something else with your time. Please and thank you, sir. And I know you're an elder, so I'm not going to get disrespectful. You said, oh boy, said that too. The mole guy said it right in their face. All the fake rocks, the mountain builders. You said, I have a question, sis. Why the Kraken, was the Kraken hypnotizing people? I don't know specifically. I have no idea. I think that's when I was saying part of it is kind of just for the cartoon part of it. But then again, if it's a being and not, um, you know, like if it's one of the fallen angels, I mean, because they showed us what, not Lucifer. What's that girl's name? And what's her name? Ursula. She had the same abilities. And they said that octopus like people or whatever, the octopus people was aliens. So ain't no telling, girl. I don't know. But I figured that was more so for part of the. But then again, I don't know, because if you think about how wet and rainy and cold like England and stuff is, and how if you think about it, in England, everybody always looked depressed back in them olden day movies. Didn't they? You never really see a lot of happy people. Everybody's always like New York, kind of like rude, and just walking through there like they under a spell, and it was cloudy and rainy and everything. So I mean, we don't know. We would have to dig deeper into it. You said, or how the Atlanteans were so well versed in all the language, kind of like how we read envoys. How we read envoys had to speak many languages to get near, climb the steps toward a certain king. Yes. Did y'all notice that they had the hair of the Targaryens with brown skin and blue eyes and white hair? Anybody? And we know they was people of color because she was tan and Milo was not. You said, yes, white hair, blue eyes, and brown skin. Could those be the... You said I wrote it in my notes. Good job. Could those be the people? Because compared to somebody in Sudan, they could be considered pale-skinned. Right? Especially back then. If everybody in the world looked like everybody in Sudan, okay, and you see them and they have this, 9 times out of 10, we was looking at what Noah used to look like too, if he was an albino. You said like Baela Targaryen in House of the Dragon, brown skin, white hair, and riding a dragon. Exactly. Exactly. Interesting, right? Interesting. They had all this technology, and did you see the gods, how they lit up and how everything looked like a microchip on the ground? Did y'all see that part where they met and the energy when she put the thing in there, and then all of the carvings started to light up blue? Isn't that interesting? You said the Atlanteans rode on an advanced flying beast. They could have made it a machine instead of showing us the real magical beast. Right, but hold on now. Hold on. Did we not see airplanes, helicopters, and aquatic machines on the Hebrew, not Hebrew, the Egyptian hieroglyphs? They had them. And the Atlanteans, they were... You saw what they showed you in that clip when they was in the Southwest. They said it's a guy, it's an Atlantean from every race of people right here, basically. And Atlantis was advanced. That's how, exactly. You said I thought of vibranium from Wakanda when she was talking about the crystals. You know it is. You know that's exactly. Or adamantium. Might be one of them. We don't know. But think about it. The crystals, we know for a fact, some of the crystals, the crystal caves is the blood and secretions of who? Some of the gods that, where do you bury something 450 feet tall? Where do you bury it? Y'all don't remember in all the old like 80s movies, they always used to show us the giant falling and then the grass growing over it? And later on, down in the flick, it's a mountain, but they stick some kind of something down in the ground, and the sleeping giant wakes up, and the mountain starts to move. And because where do you hide? Where do you bury something that is 400? I mean, I don't know the whole scope of how heavy something a 450-foot person would even be. How wide and long is a foot? You hide them in plain sight. Wild. Especially now, since we realize that there's way more land out there than what we've been told. And it had to have been explored, because how did y'all map it? This is also how we got those aerial maps that we've talked about forever and ever and ever. And it also makes sense as to what God said, that the beings that have been hidden on the earth, in the earth, they went nowhere. They went not a place. They are on the lightly colored islands. And this is why throughout the years, people have said they went through some kind of cloudy, dense thing, and they were just trying to get from one place, one country to another, and they thought they dreamed. They went up on this island, and it was all of these birds they never seen, and beings that and people was like, they was crazy. It was the salt water, because you was out there under the sun and the whatever. And whole time, that's exactly what it's been this whole time. This is why they have to know where the planes and boats are at all times. How many times have we heard about areas where if you try to get in there, you could be shot? Because they're restricted waters. Think about all the places, like you go to the beach and whatever else, and then they put them buoys out there and they say, oh no commercial boats around here, no this, no that, no planes can fly over. They're the ones that direct the flight paths. So if they never want you to see it, you won't. Because first of all, if it's not even showing on the map, you don't even know it exists. So why would you want to go there? You said the Grand Canyon and beyond the ice walls. Listen, I lived in Arizona for a good while, from my teenage years until I was a young adult, and then I moved back in my 30s and stayed there for a while. Listen, the amount of supernatural things that happens in that place is unreal. There, Vegas, all of them. You said pilots know they hide and stuff. Yeah, they sure do. And that's why, think about it, they give you your flight route. You said it's just like Nicole said, telling us without telling us, hiding it right in our face. Y'all, because come on, how many of y'all don't look at a map most of your life? Especially one of the world. It was a globe in every single one of our classes. It's very. The Valley of the Sun, and they got Diablos, the devil, the Sun Devil, Sun Devil Stadium, and Sun Devil this and Sun Devil that. You mean like Ra? You mean like the sun god Ra? Interesting. And never mind. You said, because I'm still flabbergasted about the maps yesterday. Like, it's so faint gray. If you don't know, to look, you won't see it again. We have been lied to our whole entire lives. AR, oh, Arizona, right. Razone, right. And AR could have been ER or UR or IR, like which is where a lot of them folks was coming from. Hello. Hello. Crazy, right? You said, listen, it, crazy. You said like how they take place out of Africa, you said? Calling stuff Middle Central. You said it's the exact same place. Exactly. Exactly. AR, like the capital of Moab, yes. And isn't that crazy that it's near Moab, Utah? And Ogden, Utah? Yeah. 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 Hello. So many places in Utah named after the people in ancient Mesopotamia. And then don't forget, Ohio is the Amorite Valley. You said Utah is Utz. Interesting. Interesting. Think about it. What were Amorite giants? Amorites. The Amorites from doing way over here. And Memphis, Tennessee is really simple. Come on. Come on. But think about it. Remember, the Bible says that such and such ruled all over the world. And such ruled over the world. I was even looking at a Bible like dictionary type deal the other day, and they was trying to say that the barrier was like right before you get to Asia and this, that the people in the, Middle East didn't know that, all of this land had expanded out. And I'm like, you know, if I didn't have the first half of the Bible, I might have believed that. You said, and you're in a race of giants. How big are your capital cities have to be? Oh, okay. Okay. Like Jericho. Big like Jericho. Excuse me. What was I saying? Oh, the Bible says that they went out, okay, all over the world, right? They had already, before the flood, they had already spread out and started to build cities all over the world, right? Now we know that these people had angels teaching them math, building, metals. So some of the angels that were founders of this planet when God was putting it together, right? This is why a lot of Masons call themselves the universal architects, or they worship the universal architect, or whatever that is. It's a reason for that. Now that we know that Lucifer was an overseer of heaven when God was putting stuff in places and telling people what to do, he would have been privy to that. Or he was the person making sure everybody was supposed to be where they were supposed to be, which is why they pray to the universal architect. Not God. Okay? The person that was like the project manager. Because people like to sell it like the owner is so out of touch that the project manager, or the person that is managing whatever is happening, is really the person you need to talk to. Wonder where that started. God provided all the materials and all of the everything, and you want to take credit for his work because he didn't have to get up off. He gave you everything you needed. Got it. Moving on. you know You see? So, for these people, one, to pray to him. Two, we know for a fact that they have offspring. And we know for a fact from the Bible that the giants was here, right? Right? That they were here after the flood, and the world has not been destroyed. I say this all the time. So where'd they go? They try to tell us that they killed them all off, but did they? If there's all these landmass, all this landmass that we've been looking at our whole entire life, and it's right there in front of our face. We literally had to take tests on geography, did we not? They started us with our state, then the United States, and then the islands, and then we learned about the other countries. This, I know, I'm an 80s kid. We wrote to kids in Berlin. Before the wall came down, we was writing to kids over there. Hello. Wasn't it the 90s, like 89, 90, somewhere around there, that the wall, I know it was late 80s or early 90s. We wrote letters to the kids that were behind the wall, that couldn't leave. And I remember being alive and watching them knock that wall down. So, okay. So way back when, it was what you said. I googled it, and for a race of 200-foot tall people, their LA would be about 2.2 million miles long, with buildings being 3,000 to 6,000 feet in the air. No, please do. And now you understand, niece, how they could build the Tower of Babel, and even the Bible says they almost made it to heaven. We, humans today, have not been able to build a skyscraper that's indestructible. And this building was so well built, okay, that it took them into the heavens. Right. They were trying to avenge their fathers. I get it. But took a whole year for them to get from the bottom to the top. Oh, okay. Top to bottom. Did, Danny. 365 days just going up. Huh? And they try to tell you it was 50 feet tall. Are you crazy? You crazy. You said, remember those tall trees the angels cut down? You said they tried to use them to reach heaven. You said when you see the bottoms today, right? There's Devil's Peak and all of those places. Yeah, the big old axe that's still there. Right. You said they were shooting arrows to heaven. They were. You said Earth's atmosphere is 6,213 miles up. Remember, some of the giants was 450 feet tall. Don't forget that. Right? 450 feet tall. So them building something 6,000 miles in the air, how many of them, what is that? So 900 is 2 giants, right? 900 feet is 2 giants. 1,800 feet, right, is 4 giants. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't take, and they had what, 600,000 or 200,000 men building. All of them was giants, different sizes. The stones that they got in Jerusalem right now, they don't know how they lifted them. But somebody 450 feet tall could do it. It would be just like our bricks that we got now. If you've ever, and we've talked about this, look at the Wailing Wall stones. Why would Solomon and all of these people need stones that big? Who, if regular men put them there, do we look like ants compared to them things? You said the petrified tree that looked as though they were chopped down, that they told us were actually mountains, but they were actually trees, right? You said it would only take 13 and some change of them, you said stacked on each other, to reach that high. So it would only take 13 giants and some change. So about 13, if they had one that was 250 or something. Only 13 giants and interesting. Ah, good job. If they were 400, well, that's what Enoch said. Remember? They're 450 feet. The originals. You said at 450 feet, it would take 13.8 of them. Interesting. So how quickly do you think that they would be able to get to America if they wanted to come here? Or go anywhere else? Remember, they flew. It says they flew on their hands with wings, like they had wings to go see Enoch when they knew the flood was coming. You mean like all the winged people we saw living in ancient Mesopotamia back then? He said, I'm just thinking of their waste. It had to be stinky. Listen, ain't no telling. Ain't no telling. I wouldn't be surprised though. Okay. Can y'all go to Jasher 4 real quick on Sacred Text? Because I know different books read different. Go to Jasher 4 and 18. It still amazes me to see the cities. You said ultimate. You said deep in the mountains. Momente. Where is that at? I don't even know where that is. Where is that? You said ultimamente. Where is that? Tandra? Y'all over there? Is y'all over there? In Jasher chapter 4, verse about 17. The foot of a 450 foot tall person would be 75 feet long. But ain't that as long as a football field? Is that not a football field, just about? Or is that longer than a football field? You said, and they'd run about a little over 100 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour. Where are you going? Their foot is 75 feet long, and they run 100 miles. That lightweight is going to cause a mini earthquake. The Flash runs 100 miles per hour. Y'all. What would you do? What would you do? That's the ratio of Gargamel to the Smurfs. Which is why in our little giant... That's crazy. Which is why the lady could live in a shoe. Like this. Right. You see how little these people are compared to them? He ain't even standing up straight. Interesting. Okay. Like this. Do you see these are humans? There's another one. There's a whole city on his back. Do you see this? And that's a cow in there like a snack pack. Do you see it? Now that he got the beef jerky ready. And look at how he about to step on their house. He got the little snack pack ready. You understand? You see, look, and he about to step on their house. Look. His feet look like it's about 75. And look at the people. Do you see them? You said even if you tried to get in the water and swim away, they would just be standing in a puddle in comparison to us. Yes. You said that's like Elijah outran King Ahab, and Ahab was a giant as well. Well, this is the thing, fast food, right? But that takes you back to the dude. She lived in a giant shoe. There wasn't no woman that lived. Yeah. I mean, it make 70. That's the length of a tiny home. 75, 30, some they're like 30 to 75 feet, depending on which one you like a mobile home. You said a 450 foot tall person could cause a 1 to 2.0 earthquake. 1.5 to 2.0 earthquake walking. 2.5 to 3.0 running. They cause literal tremors, which is what I was thinking, niece. Which makes sense in the Bible when it said that when the people were coming against Israel, the earth shook. So imagine now, they fighting 200,000 of those beings, 150,000 of the Amorites, the Jebusites, the Zamzummins. This is why Israel used to be afraid. And this is why God used to have angels on standby. Hello. Just, okay, if you know for a fact that it's at least 200 races of angels, which we know that there's probably, giants, there's probably more. Because that's not even telling the ones that Cain made. You know what I'm saying? Most of those people are out of the line of what we know. This person, he had the sons, and this is who they made. They made the Egyptians, they made the Akkadians, they made this, so forth and so on, right? So, what about the giants we ain't never heard about? What about them? Cain's line. Most of the giants that we know, that we read about, came through Seth's line. Because that's the only line they give us in the Bible, is it not? And you can go all the way back and see whose daddy is who. Well, if it was giants after the flood, where they come from? We know where they came from, because they play a trick on you and don't tell you that Noah and his sons was giants. He said this is what Google said about a 450-foot tall person causing a tsunami. The wave height near the shore would match their submerged depth, about 300 to 400 feet. Makes sense. Ain't that what they showed us with Poseidon? That's literally what they showed us with Poseidon. Think about Job and his brother. Okay? Because real quick now, did y'all get to Jasher? Yeah, Noah was a giant. Noah was 210 feet tall, between 280 and 210 feet tall. And they know exactly where his grave in 1800 and something, they knew where, or 19, between 1800 and 1900, they knew exactly where his grave was in Palestine, or over there in Lebanon. Yeah. So look, right? Now think about this. Yeah. And you know what? It makes you think about Percy Jackson, because when the Minotaur was running at him, was he not causing an earthquake? Right? When Ursula came up out of the water, she was, you're welcome. She was starting a typhoon, or whatever you want to call the thing, going down. And remember, because she was taking the whole boat down. Right? Well, if her daddy is an angel of the water, and she's because how big does she get? She got real, real big. And we know that they're able to shapeshift. So it makes sense, y'all. It really do. It does. When they say that they destroyed a city and all of that, you can see it. Because think about it. The walls of Jericho, it was giants there. It was giants in most of the cities that we read about. And get this. Would it be real crazy if a lot of the places that they filmed at for like Game of Thrones and stuff like that wasn't in the places that they told us? They were in the places that we haven't been able to see. This is how they know that it looked like that. This is how they knew what to put on the walls, because they've been to the actual places or filmed in the actual places. We don't know that they didn't. Now that we see all this land, that Poseidon is literally called Earth Shaker, bringer of storms and father of monsters. Polyphemus, the Cyclops, was his son. Okay. Which makes this... Okay, come on. Right here. Come on. Look. You said Poseidon is also Percy's father, and Percy was known to have caused an earthquake on Mount Etna. Interesting. I just was looking up the Marine Kingdom again. Listen, here we go. So look. Look. Jasher, chapter 4, verse 18. I said 17, but we're going to do 18. It says, let's do 17. That's fine. And every man made unto himself a god, and they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor as well as his relative. And they corrupted the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from who? The cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with another, in order therewith to provoke the Lord. And God saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth, and all men and all animals. We know that to be a deal, right? Right? We know that to be the deal. We all agree. Yes, but you can't type that, sunshine. You gotta say loving animals or something. Y'all can't type that stuff. Even when I say it, they be tripping. Because then they'll start giving us what's names. Y'all can't, you gotta find another way to say what it really is. All right, here we go. I love y'all. But if y'all want us to be able to have class, we can't. All right. All right. Can y'all go, Poseidon also caused the creation of a minotaur by making the queen fall in love with the bull. I believe it. You said that's like when NASA say they went to Mars or show Mars. It's just one of those hidden lands in the earth. Exactly. Exactly. So go to Joshua chapter 7 real quick, please. Please, please, please. Y'all ready? So we know for a fact that right before the flood, that all of that was going on. The craziness. The angels didn't bust the old chicks down. The men is the angels didn't show them how to do what they doing in the University of Japan right now, which is do human animal hybrids. The angels taught men how to mix the blood of species because they shouldn't go together. You have to alter the the whole process, the eggs, the seed, everything. You got to alter things and do all this, y'all know, gene editing in order for the two to mix. Well, that didn't start no time now. That started way back in the 7th generation from Adam, right? So think about it. Right, the splicing of it all. So with that, after the flood, the Bible tells us the giants were still here. Okay? So if you're in Joshua 7, it gives the lineage after the flood, right? Right? That's what we're reading. It says, and these are the names of the sons of Noah. So if Noah was 210 feet tall, Noah was 210, at least 208. His grave was 210 feet long. Okay? In anti-Lebanon or Lebanon, one of them places, they in the 1800s, they knew where it was. There's people that went and seen it. Okay? So, if Noah is 210 feet tall after the flood, because he lived 350 years, right? We all agree? Noah lived, because it started when he was 600, he died at 950. Right? Or no? Yes? Y'all agree? We know he was 210 feet. Okay. So if this is his lineage, and we know that this is a very important what we about to read right now. Does this not tell us who the races of giants are? At least the ones from Seth's line, but by this time, the fallen angels had already got into Seth's line. So literally, the races of giants is right here in the beginning of Jasher chapter 7, no? If Noah is a giant, that means his wife was probably a giant as well, giantess. What type of sons do you think they produced? You said explains the massive size of his ark, ship, craft. Hey, listen. He built something that was strong enough to withstand 33,000 feet of water. You said their grands could outrun a gazelle and rip lions apart. Okay. And they were still fighting with giant kings. Okay? So let's go. Right. Here we go. And these are the names of the sons of Noah: Japheth, Ham, Shem, and children, and Shem, and children were born unto them were born to them after the flood, for they had taken wives before the flood. Okay? So we know for a fact, giant granddaddy, giant grandma, giant kids, giant grandkids, and great grandkids. Okay? Now let Arius, here we go now. These are the sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madai or Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshes, and Tiras. 7 sons. 7 races of giants. Right there. Okay? And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Raphath, and Tagamar or Togamar. Okay? You hear me? Okay? So 3 races of giants. And the sons of Magog, I don't even know it. I believe it's Elkanah and Lubal. Another 2 races of giants. Okay? And the sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Chittim or Kittim, and Dudanim. So we up to 12 races of giants right after the flood. This is how it was giants before the flood and after the flood. Okay? Nimrod, giant. Okay? This is how they showed up. We up to 16 now. You said I skipped 5. Oh, I'm sorry. And the children of Madai were Achan, interesting, Zelo, Chazoni, and Lot. Okay? So think about this. They keep telling us that, thank you, giants are mythology. Right? And they keep trying to sell us that these ancient cities, you said the giants aren't they disembodied spirits? The ones that were killed before the flood, but Noah was a giant. Yeah. The ones that were killed. But think about it. Even with that, God only said that what was on the surface of the earth was going to die. He didn't say what was in the earth. And we know that they were called the mountain builders. And we see cities deep, 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 deep underground. So there's that. Because God keeps talking about what's going to come out that has been hidden on the inside of the earth for however long. At the end times, it's going to come out. If it's going to be the days of Noah, that means that whatever beings and things were here during the days of Noah have to be here right now. And now that we have found that we've been looking at the map all wrong, it all makes sense, does it not? Does it not? Who was taught that this is all to the world that there was? You hear me? We were taught the colored areas is all that there is. Whole time we've been missing and looking at landmass right in our face. Look, there's a light gray outline. Do you see it right there going in the middle? Right? You see North Atlantic Ocean? There's a line going in between South America and Africa. That's all landmass that they lied and told us was not there. They just, well, do you see it? And it connects Africa and South America right there. That's all landmass that they lied and told us was not there. Right. And it's right in your face, and it's been right in our face the whole time. This is where the research facilities and stuff are. You see it? That's all land. And it makes it to where every single continent connects too. And it's up north as well. See it? Around Greenland, and look at that. If you got a map, or you can, what, Nisi Poo, you said you could look at it on your Apple Maps. You can see it. You said enlightening. That's how those people from overseas walk to Mexico. So what's hidden in those lands? These people? Because right before it said humans would only get 120 years. It never said anything about these beings. And people in Asia have stories about, even up into the 1900s and 1700s and 1500s, that there were 400-year-old beings living still way up in the mountains where it's hard to get to and all of this kind of stuff. Okay, and everybody said it was fairy tales, but is it, if the world hasn't been destroyed and we don't even know about most of the, this is why they keep telling us that what is it, the world has only been explored 40%. They lie. Because how did you map it if you didn't explore it? Tell me. Of course. Of course they do. So I have a book on Atlantis, right? That says, are we? Now we glitching. Go out and come back in, y'all. Y'all know they be playing. Crazy. Right? So they always told us that Atlantis was in between, was a continent that connected Africa to South America, right? And it's right there still. See where it connects right there where it says South Atlantic Ocean? Atlantis ain't hidden. They know exactly where it is. Right there. They have told us forever it was a hidden place in between South America and Africa. Well, there they go, right there. There go the landmass, right in between. And you see it connects, and you can walk. And it goes all the way up to the North Atlantic Ocean as well. Look at all that land that we don't get to see right under Greenland. Right? Y'all don't think it's beings living there. No? Go look at it on your own phone. Okay? I believe, you know how they always show us the intergalactic whatever federation people made an agreement with us that they'll take so much and we'll take so much? Is that the part that they have? The giants, the dragons, because they always showing us that somebody stumbled down something and they ended up coming out of cave, and it's all the beings that's been around since back in the day that's still alive. So could it be the descendants of these people? You said it has to be land beneath the waters when God, I don't think it's beneath. We only think that's all there is because that's what they show us on our map. They never told us to pay attention to the light parts. Right? They never told us to pay attention to the light parts, and this is after the flood. The world has not been completely destroyed still. Those beings are still here. You said people report seeing the most mermaids in the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea. Ain't that where Atlantis is? Yes, it is. Where's our book? We got a book on Atlantic. Oh, our story. Remember when I was like, how did they know this? Our story of Atlantis, and it's the Hermetic Brotherhood. Interesting. How did they know where it was? Hmm? They played in our face. Now look at this. It says there is yet a little more of the flotsam and jetsam upon the stormy waves of human unfoldment, which is supplemental to our opening chapter. It must be detailed now and put entirely to one side. This is why they changed our maps. From two distinct sources, we give an account of an old Mexican city that has never been entered by the foot of a white man, and which was known to be in existence long before the Spanish conquest. And the city is white and got all of this stuff on it, but no white men had been there when they wrote this. Okay, it talks about the Yucatan, Central America, with their carved glyphs and correspondences, to the hieroglyphics of the Valley of the Nile and East Indian entablatures. Wonder why they hid that. Because they told you it sank and it's just completely gone, but the landmass is still in between Africa and South America, and they still connect. You said I saw on TikTok several men walked from India to us. They play in our face. They sure did. I remember this. It's since I've known y'all that they did it. That's the city I was telling you about. Well, it's there. We read about this. Do y'all remember? You said, I'm sorry. It is known, got my attention. The Dothraki in Game of Thrones were known to say that about their lore and legends. Right, it is known. Right. We know just because they don't. Yes. Look at this. It says corroborating evidence from the news of the present day as it comes to the ears of the watchers of the walls. Atlantis, Egypt, and India. It is separated. It's an island in the middle. If you go look on your map right now, pull up a world map and look at Africa and look at South America, and then look at that little bitty sliver of light blue right in the middle. That's where they said Atlantis was. But if you go down to the bottom of the world map, you'll see that they connect, all three. Atlantis, it's like a Poseidon's pitchfork. That's almost what it looks like at the bottom, or a pitchfork, right? And they can leave from, they connect actually several places, not just there, but they connect from Angola and Nambia for sure, and then the Cape of Hope, and then in South America, it would be Curitiba. Porto Alegre, I believe that is. Close to Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, and at the bottom as well. And those places connect to West Antarctica and Cape Horn. All of it connects. You said where I was living in the Amazon rainforest. That's like 1,000 miles from me. No way! See, we run. You see it, just me? They done played in our face our whole life. The landmass, all the landmass that they told us was hidden is right there in our face. It's just in light blue. You can see the landmass, and they all connect too. Every last one of them. So you were 1,000 miles from this place that I'm reading about in the book? And you don't want to be a part of our class? Don't. It's fine. We get to learn stuff in real time. They never taught us. And it was right in front of our face. What you call it, niece? The Carnelian law? That they have to tell you? Is it Carnelian? Interesting. And think about it. Brazil says they still have giants. Places in Mexico. Everywhere. All the mountain ranges. Why is it that you only see the satyrs? People have said they've seen satyrs recently. Dog men. It's always in the mountainous region. Excuse me. You said, but that's why they prohibit people from coming there because of its history. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Here in Texas, too. Thank you. This was a really good book. And it's a lot of information in here, and they play in our face. They play in our face. Thank you. Because remember, I was reading this to y'all. They describe in detail these temples. How you know if it ain't here no more? Oh, I know. I believe it. We've read about it. I don't know how you say your name, but it ends with Naki. Would you like to see something? Let me go get my book. I got something for you about the behind the walls. Don't we, y'all? I want to show you something. One of my lovely students sent me this book, and it's got a very interesting map in it that now, if you go look at this, it's literally on your map. You see this? They said this place is imaginary. Right? But look, between Greenland and Norway, look what's there. There's the North Pole. And look at this. Now, in this book it says imaginary places, but we went and looked on the map and it's there. It's just really light. You can't even barely see it. You see what's there? Look. Norwegian Sea, Iceland, boom, look at it. So they say up there is blue men, green men, orange folks, fox men, bear men, bird men, worm men, geese men, satyrs, lice men, fishermen or sirens, fly men, spider men, jackdaw men, magpie men, parrot men, imperials, and then 8 men. You see this? Faroe Islands is on there as well. Now, yeah, they're islands. You said, yes, it's on my globe. It is. But if you look at that our regular map, right? Now look. We just figured this out the other day. Yesterday. It's called the Dictionary of Imaginary Places. Look. You can see them very lightly. See them right there? There's Iceland. Remember, I just showed y'all this. The islands is all right there, right here. You see them? See how they go up just like that? Right in between Iceland. And look, there's the Norwegian Sea. You see it? They right there. And if you didn't know what you was looking at, you wouldn't even pay no attention to them. So they done told us that they're imaginary, these islands, the invisible landmass. Ain't that so crazy? This is why they keep telling us only this so much of the world, but it's right in our face that it's all this landmass that connects all of the 7 continents. That light part is all islands and other places that they keep telling us are not around. And yet they connect all of our continents. And just like somebody said, last year, a couple years ago, people were talking about they was walking from India. They did. I have a kid's book called People by Peter Spire. He said it shows people you've never heard of. And now we know why, because they know where they at. But if your eye is trained to only think that the world is only what's colored, well, then you will never see it. And I'm 46 years old, and I just saw it yesterday, which is wild, or the other day. So, again, oh, I know. He said there's a man that just finished walking the whole world. He's been walking since the late 80s, which we know how he did it now. I believe it. And now we know how he did it. They bamboozled us, niggas. They did. Crazy. Show it to the kids and see what they say. Ask the kids if they see landmass there. Okay? Because I was wondering how y'all knew where Atlantis, the descriptions that they give of Mexico and Atlantis and how it connects to Africa in this book is wild. How would y'all know that if it's not here? Oh, because it is, and it's right in our face. Now we know, because this is the thing. Where are y'all getting the drawings of Atlantis? How do you know how the buildings look? How do you know this unless you went there to see the ruins yourself? And just like in the movie we watched last night, it's some people still living there. They played in our face. They can give us Atlantean mysteries because the beings are still there. They told us that it was underwater. Maybe part of it. Now, Tendra, you know we use our manners. Our story of Atlantis. Girl. Y'all, we use our manners over here. Can you please tell me the name of the book now? We ain't changed. We use our manners here. It's called Our Story of Atlantis. You said you think something was in the Gulf and left the empty space. We still use our manners here. You said, all right, because I still get in touch with my people and they are Mayans. At the Mayans, okay, please, can you talk to them? You said that's why the flight patterns are so wild. Boom. They fly us around it. This is why certain boats, you can't go. They say, oh, the waters are too rocky, to this and that. No, this would also explain the ships being obliterated or taken. They weren't taken at all. Yes or no? They keep us focused on the Bermuda Triangle and this, that, and the other whole time. Hey, Pumpkin. Whole time, it's older beings here on these lands that, listen, y'all, sailor stories. You said flew to Dubai a few years ago and it was weird how we flew there. Really? Like zigzaggy, like all over. You can't fly this way. They control the flight patterns. So if they don't want us to see it, but it's right, listen, we talked about it. These people ain't went nowhere because the earth ain't. It was zigzaggy. Now we know why. You said this class is sounding interesting. I'm listening. Tisha, Miss Moore, go look at your map. Anybody that got a world map, just go look at it. We did this yesterday, but just go look at it. Right? Because we don't know what those lands are called. But if the world hasn't been destroyed and giants were on the earth after the flood, and What if some of this, okay, because my niece just read that a 450 foot tall being could cause a tsunami, right? Well, they've showed us from the Hollywood and all of that they had technology that allowed them to deep dive, right? So what would it look like? A 450 foot tall person. Now we know how those huge helmets. Did y'all peep that last night watching Atlantis? That the helmet that man flew in real, I mean, he swam into in our time in the last 10 years under the ocean, wherever he was, is the exact helmet that they put on top of that Atlantean soldier in the thing when they was putting that statue back up. Did y'all peep that? They tried to tell us it was a Roman one. It was actually an Atlantean helmet that 6-foot man stood next to in the ocean. Remember? And it wasn't AI, it's real. Right? And they were trying to say it was from a statue, but if you look at that Atlantis too, that helmet is the exact helmet that they put on that Atlantean soldier when they were repairing the city in the cartoon last night. Did y'all see that? Did anybody pay attention when they was putting it back together? Yeah, right before they put the nose back on the soldier. You said it makes me wonder about the Rechabites, where they are on some of that land somewhere. Which also makes sense. Oh my goodness. Think about this. And Africa and Asia are right across the water in the Suez Canal from each other. But pilots have to fly around instead of across. Here we go. Atlantis too. But who remembers me telling y'all they walked from when we first started this? People argued me down before I even saw these land masses, because even with you not doing that, if you look at the map like this, right? Remember I told y'all they can walk from, it's a straight line from like Israel to Japan. Remember? We talked about this in 22. Even with the map that they've given us, you can walk straight across. Way before we knew this landmass was here. If you go to where Israel is, they can walk or they can ride. Look. Here's Israel right here, right? Boom. That's China. You see this? Here's Israel. Look. China. They can walk. You can walk. Ride a bus, ride a car. You can go straight across. They try to make it like it's so separated. It's not. It's not. So could these beings still be in these places that they have highlighted light? Seeing as how we just looked up, if you go to Jasher and go down the line, okay, of Noah's grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever, the earth has not been destroyed since that time. And if there's way more land mass than we knew, and God says in the last days, it's going to be just like the days of Noah, whether that be before the flood or after, it was still giants. You said this class is so good, I forgot I was at work. Hilarious. I'll be right back. I'm going to run to the restroom. Yeah. Atlantis is right in the middle. The book I have says that you said Jane Elliott taught to turn the map upside down, and that was the correct reading of the map, but I don't know. Right. Well, the spirit of this, the ruling spirit of this world is deceit. So if you look at your map right now and see all of they made it, you said shorter if you go straight, longer going in circles and loops. Come on. Tell me that ain't crazy though. It's right there in our face. All right. So let me ask y'all a question too. Hey, good evening. You said they teach the truth in college. Jane said Africa is the biggest continent. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I don't even know that I can't say they teach the whole truth because why they didn't tell us it was more landmass than what we've been looking at. Our niece said she took a class on she took AP geography and other classes, and it's you said look at the unmap. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Are you talking about the one that has like America broken in three pieces? Huh? Thank you, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you. Think about it, right? I'm thinking what they have told us is the Intergalactic Federation, whatever that mess is, I don't know what they call it, the alien force. Because think about it. They slip and tell us that they be fighting beings from other that are supernatural. Okay? You said the Bible clarifies how large it is. You said no. At the United Nations building, they have the truth of the shape of the world. Interesting. You said you have to really reset to reprogram what's that do. But think about this. They tell us all the time that they have an alien force, right? We know this. Okay? Could all of these unidentified flying objects be the same technology that we see on all of the hieroglyphs and stuff? Because those people are in these places and they have said, we will let you have these land masses, but we got the rest. Well, it's looking like there's a lot more landmass uncolored than there is colored. They show us these parts of it, right? They show us this. But we don't even know that all of these, that you can go from Africa or South America straight up the middle of those two continents, okay, straight to the north, which makes sense when I told y'all that the first Russians and stuff and the first of every culture were dark-skinned people. You said, and well, now we know what outer space really is. It's the hidden land masses. Exactly. Out of the space that you all know. But think about how many ships have gone down, planes coming up missing. What if they didn't come up missing at all? What if they were taking people to these giants, right, as sacrifices for them not to come over on the bigger places and come and get us or whatever else? How many people have talked about being snatched by otherworldly beings, but they weren't taken off Earth? They brought them back. All the missing people, right? Exactly. Which makes that dolphin story make more sense. That man was taken, but he was able to breathe underwater. Whole time it was probably to Atlantis. That's right there in the middle of us. That children's movie Home. Come on. Think about it, y'all. We just read about all the races of giants from Noah's line. Now, we already know that Cain's line was already in the cave system, yes or no? You said, and in the first Atlantis Disney movie, the Atlanteans under King Kashkim were attempting to conquer and colonize other surface nations and rival cultures using their crystal-powered raw machines. And what is it that the fallen angels taught the women to do, and then they were turned into what? Sirens? It makes sense that they baby daddies trying to get back at God would make a place for their children to go and visit their mothers, not just at the waters. Hello, Poseidon and Nereus and Typhon, who is if you look at the old pictures of Typhon or Typhus, he's a black dude with dreads, y'all, with fish bottom or squid bottom. The dolphins help us remember what they blocked out. You said that's why they don't want us around them, right? Listen. You said, and just like in the Black Panther, Wakanda, you said how the man had the wings on his feet and how they went underwater. And they had a whole civilization down there. Exactly. Hey, nephew, we on the... Hi. We're talking about Atlantis, all of that. And then Superman. Superman has the rock. But again, the fallen angels are the one that taught to put the crystals on stuff to make them charmed. What's the sword from what's the name? That's stuck in the rock and can't nobody get it out. You said, did y'all see the video of the humanoid creature chasing that boat? You said it had web hands, reflective eyes, and super dark black skin. I did see that. King Arthur, thank you. Excalibur. Okay, I did see that. And you know what it made me think of, right? The mermaid that they found with all them niggas with the Yeezys on, and they kept saying it wasn't real because it was black, and they was like, they need to take that wig off. Baby, that being is around from when the world was new, when everything, pretty much everything on earth was that. And did you see the shimmer on the skin? The rib cage was different. We didn't look at it a gazillion times. The rib cage did not look like, and there were no mammary glands either. Even men have mammary glands, do they not? Glands. Men have chest and they have a nipple. There was none on that being. Little boys and little girls they have a chest. There was no mammary glands on that being at all, whether it was a boy or a girl. There was none. That's what people didn't pay attention to. You said, and the one chasing the boat had shimmery skin too. He did. I said, or they did. It did. So, and now that we know, yeah. Okay. Hold on. So think about this, right? I be forgetting y'all done sent me books till I go in here looking. And then I find something else, and I find something else, and I find something else. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Ooh. All right. Does this make more sense now? This makes more sense. It's maps about all of the people who are probably on the... Come on, y'all. Do y'all see it? Now we know where they at. The red-haired giants and whatnot. Probably the six-handed people. I mean, six-fingered people. The blimmies. The dog men. The cyclopses. Now we know where they at. Girl. The satyrs. Y'all think... OMG. The satyrs in Ethiopia, some have long horns, some long noses, and goat's feet. Interesting. Now it's called the Phantom Atlas. Now we know where all of these beings are. Oh man, they just been playing in our face the whole time. And I remember I used to ask, how are they so detailed if this was not real? Got it? The giants of Patagonia. The giants of Patagonia, right? Right? 1562. What's that? What's in Magellan? He went to the island of Patagonia. And when he got there, he saw ancient beings that were massive. Okay? We looked it up. We got a ton of people in here that are born with 6 fingers and 6 toes. And all kinds of other stuff. Webbed fingers. Hold on. Am I tripping? Or have they... Y'all, This map is from 1710. Where is my light? You know what? Just use your phone. Because I don't even know where it is. Hold on. Whoever got this book, I need you to go, y'all. Hurry up. I think my that's one thing about these phones, baby. They don't be in no emergency. They take forever to come on. It gotta be in my room. Look at this. So they shaded a whole bunch of landmass out on here too. Y'all. And why is where they telling us it is? Right where it connects on the map. Okay. Look. See the square down at the bottom? Right there. And you see that's a part of Africa right there. You see the square where it's at? That's exactly where it connects, y'all. At the bottom. And then y'all see they hiding the can y'all see that they got them like right in the middle part? It's dark. You can see the land masses. You see them? Like right? Girl, they playing. They is playing. This is from 1710. Look. I know y'all can't see. I was showing them first. Hold on. Okay, look. See where the box is? This South America, exactly where that box is. If you go look on your world map, that's where they connect to Africa right there. One of the spots. Right? But if you can see, all of this land right here, they didn't like darked it out. Like it's shaded. See, there's a landmass right here. Can you see it? Y'all see them? They did the same thing that they did on our map right now. Now look. They didn't play it in our face for the last time. Boom. It connects right here. Look. Look what's right there. That's the light land that connects right to Africa. Boom. This is where it shows the connection right here in this area. And look. This is all landmass. So they can go from right here, go up, boom, 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 right there. From right here. Okay. Go right up there or even right here. And there it is. Right there. It's lightly shaded. No. You've never seen that before? Well, look today. Go look on your map. It's so much landmass. They hit all the light blue. And then there's even lighter spots. That's the crazy thing. Go look on your world map on your phone. So you can't say that crazy lady on TikTok. You seen it with your own eyes. Y'all see it? You said in Patagonia is located in South America. Exactly, nephew. Where the Giants is. Brazilians, think about it. Okay, just think. Oh. This is how Og got to Utah. Moab. Y'all. They could walk 450 feet, 250 feet. Nicole did the math a couple weeks ago for us. Because Seth, Adam, and Eve, and Cain, well, we don't know so much about Cain. But Seth, Abel, Adam, and Eve were 30 feet tall. Okay? They were originally 30 feet tall. That was the average. That's how big God created them, 30 feet tall. Okay? So when the angels came down and made it with them, this is how we got beings of 450 feet tall. Everybody can think I'm crazy. We got a book. Thank you, T. Right here. Giant cities of Bashan now. Giant cities of Bashan. This is why it's places like, it just makes me think about, remember when we was talking about the archaeological digs and stuff, right? And I'm like, y'all, they keep telling y'all that the Bible ain't real and that none of this mythology is real, but they go to these places and they find bones and everything, right? How many times we didn't talk about that here? Okay? My niece Pooh just said that a being 450 feet tall, if they were walking, they would cause a 1.5 to 2.0 like earthquake or tremors. And if they were running, a 3 to 4.0 earthquake, y'all. Which makes sense. Because they always showed that when the gods were running, the ground would be breaking up. They could rip trees and throw them, boulders. And even the Bible talks about that. What was the giant's name that was throwing the boulders at David when he was running from Saul? I can't think of his name. But there was a giant that was literally throwing boulders at David when he was running from Saul. Remember? He also ran with the lion-headed men of Moab. No, I don't think it was Goliath. I don't think it was Goliath. I think it was somebody else. Was it Goliath? Not when he was fighting him. I thought it was a different giant. I don't think it was Goliath. It was somebody else. I can't remember his name. Wasn't it Sippai or something like that? Like Sippai? I thought that was the name of the giant. Can y'all look it up for me, please? I don't know which one. I don't know which one. But this book is from 1891. Shemai? Okay. Shemai. Yeah, this is Og of Bashan. Yeah, not that was throwing stuff at David. No. But okay. Y'all see? This book is from 18. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong side. Hold on. 1891. Okay, it was Shemai. Okay. I knew, that's why I said I don't think it wasn't. It was Shemai. 1891. Okay? And you see what it say? The giant cities of Bashan and Syria's holy places. Okay? Now look at this now. This book from 1891. Look. Bashan and its giant cities. Okay? In 1891, you see down here, the Rephaim, Ashtoreth Karnaim bore the first brunt of the onset. The Rephaim, that is the giants, for such is the meaning of the name, men of stature, beside whom the Jewish spies said long afterwards that they were as grasshoppers. These were the aboriginal inhabitants of Bashan, and probably of the greater part of Canaan. Most of them died out or were exterminated, so they say. But a few remarkable specimens of the race, such as Goliath, Sippai, and Lami, First Chronicles. Hold on. You see this? Were the terror of the Israelites and the champions of their foes as late as the time of David. Okay? See here? Strange to say, the traditionary memorials of these primeval giants exist even now in almost every section of where? Palestine. In the form of graves of enormous dimensions, as the grave of Abel near Damascus was 30 feet long, that of Seth in Anti-Lebanon about the same size, and that of Noah in where? Lebanon, the place they're tearing up right now, which measures no less than 70 yards. That's 210 feet. Why would Noah need a grave that's 210 feet unless he's 208 or 9 feet. Make that make sense? And the original humans now, Abel and the like, they were 30 feet tall, 29 to 30 feet tall. But they don't tell you that. But in 1891, they knew that because this man went all through Palestine, and there's so much good information in here. It's ridiculous. But they hide it from us. So you got to think. If Noah was walking, Nisi Poo, I don't know if you're still in here or somebody can do the math. How much does a person that's 10 feet tall weigh? And then I know you said a person that's 450 feet tall, their foot would be 75 feet long. So is it about half of that for a person that's 210? A 200, can you tell us how much a 210 foot person might weigh? And then how, I know it's about half of what you told us, but I can't remember the weight. And then how much a 30, I remember you wrote that down for, well, I ain't gonna say for us, but you did the math for us so we could know as well. I read the book. It's up there. Yeah, I read the book. You said, is this why they destroyed? Yes, I told y'all that a couple years ago. That's why they was over there. I told y'all. That's why we had Iraqi freedom, too. You said 8.77 million pounds, and their foot would be 32 feet long for a 210-pound person. What you doing with that? What you doing with that? Tell me. And looking for the magical bones. That's why they over there. Either you believe the Bible or you don't. Samson was a giant as well. 6.6 million pounds. Interesting. You said 600 to 850 tons getting squished because I'm Microsoft. Girl, do y'all remember me asking y'all when we first got here in 22? And I used to say yes for DNA. But you can't type all of that stuff, Heidi. You got to change it up just a little bit because they be in our business, you know? Okay, so look, remember when I used to ask you, I said, what you would do if you were sitting in your living room and you feel somebody watching you and you turn around and the eyeball is as big as your living room window. Not the whole eye, just this black part looking in your window. What you gonna do? Do you realize this was really happening? You said we would all be jelly with those giants stomping around. So if these beings lived and there were larger giants than Noah living at the time of Noah, okay, Nisipu did the math for us today, and you said 13.8 giants to get from the crust to the, you said out of Earth's atmosphere is 6,000 and some change miles. So only 13 and a half of these 450 foot giants would have to stack on top of each other to be outside of our atmosphere, which I talked about 2 of them being taller than the Twin Towers. If 2 giants, the regular size giants, were to stand over, like stand on their shoulders, how we see with the cheerleaders, make that thing, 2 of them is almost taller, or 2.5, I think, of them are taller than the Twin Towers were. What would you do? You said noodle legs and faintness. You said 6,213 miles to get to the atmosphere. It would take 13.8 450 foot people to stand on each other to reach that. 300 L's. Right. And an L of measurement is about 18 to 21 inches. It's from the inside of your elbow to the tip of your middle finger. Same thing as a cubit. A cubit and an L is the same. It's 18 to 21 inches. That's how they used to do measurements. Okay? 300 L's is 450 feet tall. So if you wonder who was lifting those big old bricks up to the top of the highest mountains like Machu Picchu and stuff, them. I got a picture in one of these books, and I think it's in Asia, where this tree is big, so big. Let's see if I can find it. It's like, who the heck got them bricks up there, though? Look at this. Who got these bricks up here? These are the same size boulders that are at the at Wailing Wall. This is a temple. Look at this tree. Look how little that man is. A 450 foot person would have a wingspan of 450 to 468 feet. Do you see this? Do you see how big this tree is? Look at the monk, y'all. They can't even lift this rock, probably. And look at this tree that's been grew over it. Could this be one of the old trees that reach up to the heavens, maybe? And this is not an AI generated picture. Understand that. Look at these big old rocks. Okay. This is why it's good to get these when the photographers just go and they go over to other countries and they just take pictures. It's interesting to see what you see when they are allowed to go in the places. It's another one with the temples. That's a temple picture, but there's one more. We'll do this one. It says in all of those ancient peoples that the regular humans was like ants, grasshoppers, right? Can you spot the person in this picture? Do you see him? Right here. You see? Look like a grasshopper compared to those buildings, I'll say. And these temples is old. So who was building them that big? Here go another one. This is out. Now, who watched 30 coins or 33 coins or whatever it was? Did y'all watch that? And there was the billionaire tech guy that had got a hold to a big black rock that was really the key to an ancient spacecraft, and he went over into, is it 30 coins? Okay, look here. It that thing looked exactly like this when it flew up off the ground, didn't it? And they have these all over Asia. But you see the horse at the bottom? Look, that's a person behind there. Y'all see him? Now go back. You can barely see the horses. Look how big that is. And they got these all over. It's a thing where it's just like a whole big landmass and they're all different sizes. Hello. Y'all wonder who put those big old stones and stuff places. We know. See if I can find it. That's who carved all of the Wyoming Devil's Tower was a tree. There's a lot of them in Arizona too. Exactly. It's one other picture in here. I don't have it marked, y'all, but it was one that shows it shows like a valley, and it's a whole bunch of them. They just everywhere. Well, I guess you can kind of see it in here. Let me see. You can kind of see it in this picture, but there's a better one in here. There's no page numbers. And it's crazy because all of the, you know what, it is in this picture, but, okay, so look, you actually can see them in here. See up here at the top? See them in the back? See? It's all of them. See them back there? It's like how we would park our cars. Y'all see them? It's even one right next to this one. You can barely see it right here. Okay. And y'all see how little this horse. This is like Jack and the Beanstalk. This like Jack and the Beanstalk, y'all. What? And these are everywhere. They're all over. And now we know how they be, when they make the movies, we know exactly where they get the sets from, because they go to the places still. Because they're still here. They are still here. They you know what though? And the sad part about it is, that's probably why they took out all the lost books of the Bible. Because it talks about these places that they've hidden on the map. That makes sense. Because think about it. We learned about all of these other beings from the lost books, right? But they've edited ours to say, oh, it's a race of people, we don't know who they are. But absolutely they do. Absolutely, because y'all flying us all around on Zagreeka, on zigzags. You said you always have my mind thinking. Well, that's the point. This is not entertainment. We over here to prick your mind and get you, you know what I'm saying? Looking. Seeking you shall find. You said this is also fascinating. Yes. And this is why God said, you got eyes, but you can't see. Wake up. He's told us that several times in the Bible. Wake up. It's a lot of stuff right in front of you, like huge land masses that you've been looking at for 46 years. And you never paid attention because they told you only focus on the colors. Don't focus on what's not colored. Only focus on the part of the world that's colored. You said, I always wonder where the Mayans disappeared to. They didn't. And this is how they can tell us the stories of everything. And they know down to the detail because they still going to the places. If you, okay. Y'all watched Atlantis. In the middle of the Grand Canyon, they had a Mayan god there, an Atlantean god there, a Phoenician god. But they said, oh yeah, all of these people were Atlanteans. They all had Atlantean technology, all of them. And in the ancient Phoenicians, and all of those other cultures over there, all of them had what looked like a different motherboard type information that looks like our chips right now. Because they're angelic seals and symbols. Because the angels are the ones that taught them. This is what them crop circles is. There are the Supai people. Interesting. You said the fallen are shapeshifters. Of course, they trying to deceive. Right. You said because isn't Aquaman Atlantean? Yes, he is. And y'all saw when they went under there, it was the same cities. But think about it. Even the language that they use is ancient Phoenician. And then when they put it up there in Atlantean, and then they change it back, it's ancient Phoenician. A lot of the cryptid writing, right, or the old writing, is ancient Phoenician or Akkadian. What's the name? We know this. Even in Greece and Rome. We glitching. It's funny. You see? You normally see this in movies right here. Or this. Well, we know that's like a version of Ethiopian writing, right? But look at this. This is normally what you see, and then they put it in our times. Or this. A couple months ago, I went to the Grand Canyon and saw that there are holes in the walls. Yeah. And if you go and watch Atlantis 2 on Disney or wherever it is, you're going to see something. You're going to see something. Okay, so look. It even said, look right here. The Itzcoatl, I think that's how you say it, a king named Itzcoatl, or knife snake. His hieroglyph was a serpent, Cotl, I believe that's how you say it, with stone knives on his back. So they were just basically going in here and showing you that the Aztecs, the Mycenaeans, the people in Crete, and here's Odin right on in here. All of these people, they're, and look, talking about Peru, hieroglyphs for Cleopatra, Akkadian cuneiform, okay, and the Chaldeans, all in here. So when you go and you be looking, right, it shows us where our language came from. But again, a lot of people don't know that Roman, Greek, all of that came from the Phoenicians. Cadmus, he took it over there in what, 14 something. Yeah, the language, no. The language prior to Babel, I believe, was all Paleo Hebrew. Or versions of it. Because again, if you go down south in America, the people that they say were slaves spoke Paleo Hebrew. That's what's on their grave sites. The name that Master gave them is there, but then they couldn't figure it out, and a guy just in the last 10 years or so figured out that they wrote it upside down or whatever, and the people thought it was just markings in the things, and the guy flipped it, and it was Paleo Hebrew. So how would the slaves in the South know Paleo Hebrew? And the Indians too. The indigenous. Make that make sense. You said the ones charged have agreed, have agreements with these folks. Oh, okay, yes. You said, and if we believe Jacob and his kids were giants, then that would be how the pyramids and the buildings that Pharaoh had the Hebrews built. Right. Exactly. We know for a fact that they are, Danny. We know for a fact that they are. Because how was his kids doing that? But again, that's why they took Jasher out. That's why they took the book of the 12 patriarchs out. All the books that they took out. You said, so Black Americans are indigenous or from Africa, both. Didn't I just, Shannon, did you just see me show you the, okay, look. I need y'all to look now. Okay, is this upside down? Yes. Look here. Okay. Look. South America, Africa. Do you see where they connect down here? They are both. Do you see that? This is South America. This landmass that they're not showing you connects straight to Africa. You see it? Right here. This is Brazil and all of that, where they said the giants are, the Patagonia Island, which is where old boy Magellan and them said they saw them in 1555. Okay, boom. They connect right here. That light part is actual landmass. This is how people are saying that they can walk across the Atlantic Ocean, because they just lightened the landmass so we couldn't see it. So yes, I do believe that. And they connect up here as well in different places. And this is one landmass. So if you got a boat, you hitting land, water, land. This how they spread out. You said yes, both grandparents are Blackfoot Nation on my dad's side. Not sure. Other than the West Indies. No. I heard my whole life that my grandmother had Indian. My real, like, if y'all listen again, right? When the Bible said they spread all out from the motherland, they did. And there was boats and all of that stuff way back when. Because there's no reason for there to be Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon if that didn't really happen. There's no reason for Ohio and Indiana and Kentucky and all of that to be called the Amorite Giant Valley. Why would they call it that? Why would places in Utah be named Og's Den? And we know that Og, king of Bashan, ruled over the earth at one point in time as well. We wouldn't have places called Moab. Moab, the lion-headed men of Moab, were giants as well. And there's a place up in Utah, Moab. Matter of fact, we looked it up. A lot of cities have either a street or a space, a city called Og's Den or Ogden. Right. Right. So, right. That's how they find all of the statues that got the black noses down in South America. And the same noses that they knocked off in South America, they knocked off in Egypt and in Asia. Matter of fact, I was going through my pictures and I found something. And I was like, yep. I think I took a screenshot. I did. Okay. Do y'all know who this is? Who's that? Huh? Ra Hin Nefer Amun? That look just like the temples they built, don't it? Now, what is Ra doing in Asia? Ra Hin Nefer Amun? Them is, ain't that Nefertiti? Amun? We know who that is. Ra, I don't know who it is. Huh? What is this? And as y'all can see, I was looking at it in 2019. Oh, okay. What about this one? We already know what this is. They was getting ready to start their locks. That's why they don't want us wearing certain hairstyles, because if we go looking in pictures, right? I also was looking into some stuff about Socrates today, right? Socrates, Ezra, and Nehemiah all lived at the same time. Some of y'all probably already knew that. Okay. And Artaxerxes the first was a pharaoh or ruler, a Persian ruler at that time. It is. The Bible said we were scattered into the corners of the earth, so definitely both. Come on. He was a king, right? His name also was Longomanus, or long, I guess that's how you say it. Longomanus, and it meant long hand. They tried to tell us it was because one of his hands was longer than the other. Or could it have been he was a giant? Could that have been it? A fallen angel's child? Because this was his tomb cut into the rock. High up in the... It looked like the stuff we see over there in the Grand Canyon, don't it? Interesting. Cut straight into the rock. Look. And look what's at the base of it. Interesting. Now, how did they do that? Ain't no paneling on that. You said giants, the original earth builders, right? Look at this. This is why I believe they know where the giants is. That looked like Kandahar, probably, where they went up in there trying to get up in there thinking it was something dead in there. The whole time it was a giant's house. And they be trying to make it like it's caves. The whole time they was building stuff like this back in 450 BCE. Oh, okay. You said that looks like the tall city in Indiana Jones. It probably is. This girl, when I tell you they've been playing in our face the whole time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They've been playing in our face, girl. Now look. Can I show y'all something funny? Who want to see something that is hilarious? Y'all want to see something that's hilarious? Because it is. Huh? How you get from this, a nigga with curly hair and a nappy beard, and everybody around him is a nappy beard, right? This the same dude, right? You see it. Y'all know who these people is. You see the naps coming at the back. The curls. Okay, I ain't gonna call them naps. But y'all know what this is. Persians, right? Boom. Now they done took his nose off, right? And I'm gonna show you why they took his nose off. If you go look, they have the full ones of him with his nose, right? Y'all look what they said he looked. Baby, this why you gotta know where to look. Why? How you? Okay. How you change him from that to this? All the people with the super curly hair that they be showing y'all, that ain't how. I said, well, that. And they changed him to look like this. I said, they are hilarious. They do know it's hieroglyphs over there where we can see him in real life, right? And see his features that they haven't got to. No, honey. No, baby. You see that? They took the face off for a reason. Okay, this is a better picture of them too. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, that's a better picture. You see it? Them is niggas. They got do-rags on and stuff. Them is niggas. They is. I know my people's gonna see him. Everybody got that one uncle. He gonna comb his fro out and stuff, cause it's real thick, and put his cap on, and it's gonna be, you see him. He walking through there like this, talking to people. You said how they explain the dude on the hieroglyphs with a gold grill. Right. with a whole grid, right? You said, yeah, they are in an uproar. The Jupiter played Helena of Troy. You said whole time that was more historically correct, right? Lupita, right? They don't even know Helena of Troy was, but we'll just leave it because they ain't did enough history to know. Yeah, just go look at some of the old pictures. You The Smithsonian agrees as well, okay? It's for educational purposes only. The Smithsonian, you see what they say? From the dawn of civilization to present day. If you don't have this book, you need to get it. I'm not saying, it's they did all, but they did their thing. Just watch this. Just watch this. Do you see this? You see that? Huh? You see it, right? Them is French braids. I don't know if y'all know that on this head or not. 2 with baby hairs. Y'all know them fine men that kind of look like that one player that everybody, what's his name? What's the name? But he got a wife, ain't gonna be right. And they got that real pretty, and they'll split it down the middle and they mama braid it around like that. That's what that was. That's what that is. That's braids. And look. You see? Hold on. Where'd they go? Look. What's that? What is it? We all got a cousin with that fro. They're trying to grow their hair out so they get French braids. This is Smithsonian's book now. What? And there goes that handwriting I was telling you about. Right there in the Smithsonian. You see it. And there's an Olmec head. Now, why would they put them right next to each other? I wonder. Interesting. Why would they do that? Why they always want to knock the nose and lips off of stuff? Interesting. I don't know. Interesting. Okay. Now, why would this guy... Hold on now. Let's see. Where is it at? Hindu Kush. Interesting. You see that? You see that's a Hindu Kush? That's interesting. Interesting. And Kush was who? What's Kush? Again? Tell me. Why folks don't want to be a part of the people they came from, This is a real good book. I ain't gonna take y'all all the way through here. There's some good stuff in here though. Look at Buddha with his beater beads. Oh, him, son. Interesting. What would he be doing in India? Look at Buddha with them beater beads on his head. Look at him. That look like my cousin. I got a cousin that make that same face when she looking down on somebody. Right now. She look just like that. And she might have a little curly. Then pull the fro back and it's just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. The Smithsonian history. That's it. It's from the dawn of civilization to present day. It is. I promise y'all, if I could show y'all a picture and I put her on blast, she make that same face and look just like that. And she'll have her hair. You know when you take your braids out, that's exactly what your ponytail look like too. Don't play. And you didn't have time to wash it and you got them little knots in there. That's how your ponytail look too. Quit playing. Don't get in here acting like y'all got that silky stuff. Stop it. You're welcome. Don't be acting like that. You said they rather destroy it than to give us credit where our credit is. That part. You already know. No, not a beaded skull. Yeah, bead beads. If you read Buddhism, no. If you read Buddhism, y'all, right? And then even Hinduism, like they're it's literally Psalms and Proverbs. I don't know if y'all have ever really read Psalms and Proverbs and like the Songs of Solomon. That's all that I said. Not that I didn't play it in y'all face. It literally is scripture. But people forget that the names change, so that's why at the Tower of Babel. But if you get like these are two good books, right? And they're just shorter versions, kind of whatever. But you see, right? If you get your Bible and you read this, like, and lay them out side by side, you'll see it. You'll see it. You said I probably didn't had every one of those hairstyles. Come on. You will see it. But because you're so busy saying it's wrong, you don't see where they align. Because again, Abraham was the father to many sons. Most people don't go and study. They only pay attention to the main two. But he had other kids. Where did they go? To India. That's why they have Brahma, Saraswati, and Gagar. The rivers there. Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. Hey, all of this I say all the time because it's that simple. Instead of fighting over, yeah, they worship this and they worship that and they worship this, go look and see. Now, did they start to deify humans that lived? Yes. But were a lot of those gods real? Yes. Because if you go and you study in the giants, there were giants like Gyges in different places. And people will say, his name was, there's one that's Gyges and one that's old Gyges. Like Og, Gyges. Okay? Now, they'll say, I don't believe that this person was born with that many arms. And people in the Hindu part of the world are still born with extra body parts. And they worship them as gods even now. Extra arms. And you know what I'm saying? They have a lot of the conjoined twins there. All of those people were actual people as well. You're still seeing in the little tales too. Exactly. Excuse me. So how could it be myth if those people are still being born today? And they're still worshiping them. Matter of fact, it was a double-headed cow recently. And they put the red thing in the middle of his face and they worshiping him right now. A double-headed cow right now. It's alive right now. So, you know, I say go looking in some older places if you can. And instead of talking about what's wrong, you might find the rest of the Bible if you open your eyes up. Right? Our eyes is open. And we can't look at no mythology and not see scripture. It ain't one day that we done went and studied mythology and it wasn't scripture. But if all they gotta do is change the names, knock a couple noses off, change the color, make it black and white, or whatever, and you be like, oh, I ain't gonna read it, well, you'll never know your history, or other people's either. That is not our problem because you don't want to know. We can't look at anything and not see scripture right. God said they got eyes, but they don't use them, and we're using them now. He said, I just ordered the last one in stock on Amazon. Uh-oh. Listen, if you want to hide something, hide it in a book or a movie. And I keep telling y'all, they tell y'all kids the truth because they know kids will believe. That's why they hide all of the truth in the kid books. Real magic, kid books. Real names of the demons and the stories that happen, they hide it in the kids books. And they make you go pay. You be wondering, I wonder if this was real. And then you go take your kids to see the movie and they telling you the story and you don't believe it. They sell it to you as Marvel and DC and all of that. It's real stories. You said I just ordered a few of those books. Cousin Keith showed us the other night, girl. I'm on it. Not right now, but I will be shortly. You said, or flip it upside down so you're confused. Yeah, or change the name. That's the main thing we running into is them changing the names. Right. Mm-hmm. You said that's why I always ask my son questions because they know more than us. Listen, they be telling the kids the truth. And people don't, oh, Disney. Disney tells you we are the most magical place on earth. Period. Ain't that what they say? Do you believe them or not? Because all them symbols, it's not just made up. They're real, angelic, sigils, and all kinds of stuff. But because folks don't go looking, they don't research, they just think, oh, it's make-believe. Right. Right. Every one of them stories they telling y'all really happened. If the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, what does that mean? You said Disney World was built over a magical... Exactly. Exactly. And I've been to Disney World. I haven't been to Disneyland, but I've been to Disney World. Oh, okay. So if they can show us a movie about it, that means it's already been real before. Period. Every single thing. Because they can't make up nothing. They're not creators. They just see beings that's already been here. Now that we know they've been hiding the land, now we know how they look. Sorry, y'all. want to look up something real quick. And I know I've looked it up before, but it's not fresh in my mind. Okay, so look. And we did look this up together. I remember that. Okay, so look. It says Shem lived 600 years and died 502 years after the flood, according to Genesis. Ham and Japheth, exact ages at death are not recorded in Scripture, though they lived through the transition from the pre-flood to the post-flood area. How come we don't know? Why is it certain people's death is not in the Bible? Like Cain and Eve and the other daughters of Adam and Eve and the other sons. It's very important to know how long these people lived. So how old was the sons at the time of the flood, and then they still lived another 500 years after or longer? Okay? So they was from the old world, right? We did a class on this. I just can't remember the numbers, but we literally went and looked up how long they was living, certain people, after the flood. And then we tied them to the gods of Nimrod, Nim, and the Phoenicians and all of these different people. We tied them to those people. But you got to think, if they were around when the first world was here, they could tell stories of what was seen. You said, according to the show Lucifer, Cain is still roaming. You said the world begging God to let him die. He's immortal. Listen, exactly. So you live 500 years after the flood, right? You don't think that you might be worshipped as a god, that you could tell them about the people that lived prior to the flood? And it says that they went out and built cities. And now that we see that all of that land, because remember, oh my goodness. Y'all think about all the places that they kept telling us they didn't know where the people went. But the Bible tells us that they moved to this land or this land or this land, but those lands are not on the map, but they are on the map. They absolutely are. Also, okay, if it never tells us, you said right, creating their own version of history like they're trying to do right now. Exactly. Whole time they know exactly where they went and where they are, because they have the old maps. And we know for a fact Vatican and Smithsonian got them. We know that 100%. They got them because they raided every corner of the earth and took books and maps and what do they call them? Relics. So that means what they showed us in Black Panther is real. That they got all the stuff in the British Museum and the Russian museums that are our magical tools from that era. And we know for a fact that the angels, the bracelets and stuff, the angels taught them to enchant those. Their crowns and stuff. That's in Enoch. You said I was looking up, and I believe Norse mythology, and it was saying the Fomorians were giants, but they believe they came from the line of Ham because of the curse in the picture of them looking crazy. I believe it. I mean, you got to think, in Norse mythology, they literally say the Nephilims, they talk about Erd, which is right? We know this for a fact. They talk about Mamre. They call the tree Mamre from ancient Mesopotamia. Mimir, Mirmir. It's the same. It's the same people. The generations in Jotun. These people are, mentioned in the Bibles or the lost books of the Bible. That's why they took them out, because then we would know, and then only told us what to look at on the map. Because how you telling us about a lost civilization and you can, I'm just, have I ever seen pictures of the trains that used to travel through tunnels? Which trains? Because I'm old. So I remember, going to places in the Midwest and having to go down into the train system and go under. Are you talking about the ones from Tartaria? This is the thing. I believe what God said, that there's nothing new under the sun. Either you believe that or you don't. So that means either before the flood or since the flood, every single thing. Well, we know that the Akkadians had Nokias, and it looked just like our Nokia. Oh, I believe it. You said classrooms growing up usually had a map for elementary school. So they ingrained in us that's it from childhood, just like everyone had a flag for sure. Exactly. You said, Dean, why did I see today that the EP guy would find the ancient treasures for the elite? You said they wanted the artifacts for their power. I told you. But we knew this already. We knew. That's why I told y'all, any place that they're digging, they want that DNA. That's what they want. They want the artifacts. They try to make you believe that the Bible is a myth. And I told y'all this in the beginning. But all the archaeologists use the Bible to find their ancient cities. Or they use the Quran. Or whatever. They use the religious books to go find the ancient cities. So if it's not real, how is it real in archaeology? And they don't tell us till 20, 30 years after they did the dig that they even did it. So if they wanted to change information, 20, 30 years is enough time to try to and how many times have we seen in the movies that they make a remake of it for the museum, right? And then they show you all the old pictures of the people finding them and this, that, and the other. And whole time the real thing is down in the bottom of the museum or in a place, you know what I'm saying, behind lock and key and all of this, because they give you the version that they want you to have. If y'all not telling us about these digs for 20, 30 years, because how is it that all of these things are sold on the black market? With Interpol being around and you got to declare stuff at customs. How is this happening unless it's the big people doing it? They taking whole coffins out of Egypt and taking them to Britain. Why? And it's places in Egypt where you could study that body. Why you got to take it all the way to Russia and the UK and all of Switzerland? For what? And y'all say y'all found it, but the Egyptians knew where it was the whole time. And they never went in there digging up no bodies. They knew better. Because archaeology it's just another word for grave robbing. Now you're a certified grave robber. And you get billions and billions of dollars and millions of dollars funded to you to go be a grave robber. Because when you find it, why don't you leave it where you found it in the country that you found it in? They don't be digging up Italy. You don't see nobody up there digging in Rome. And Excuse me. Not wrong, but Russia, they ain't up there digging for nothing. Always Africa. Africa and the Middle East. That's the only place you be in ancient China. I wonder why. It's a reason. You said just like in the movie, Milo was excited to be doing research. The other were there for the money. That's exactly what be going on. And you see how deadly it got in the dang movie. A kid's movie. You said found it means it was already there. They just found it as is. That part. Exactly. Exactly. So if y'all want to, I'm not gonna keep y'all because I know it's first days of school and stuff for people. Um, Tomorrow or whatever. If y'all want to, can y'all go through Jasher, the first Jasher 7, and pick whichever person from the beginning after the flood that you want to, and do as much research as you can on that person from Jasher 7? Everybody pick somebody different. It don't matter. One of those people that are listed in the generations. Thank you. Whichever one, right? And we'll see where these people went. Okay. It's a new episode of House of the Dragon coming on today too. Let me get my stuff ready. Let me get my stuff ready. It's a new episode of House of Dragons. I forgot. It is on Sacred Text, T. It's the Jasher we always used to go to in the beginning when we first got over here. You said this assignment is going to be interesting. I think it will as well. You guys are in your doctorate class now, so let's get it popping. Right? We don't got to do everything in class. Some days we do. But y'all been doing more independent study now. And I like it. It is. So, pick whoever you want from Jasher chapter 7. You said, wait. I started his Dark Materials, and it was the same as the other movie. They go together. It's the rest of it. It's how it all happened. Yeah, it's real good. Keep going. It's their soul on the outside of their body. In that movie, it's the soul on the outside of the body. So, like, your conscious on the outside. That's literally like a spirit animal, but it's their soul on the outside of their body. Yep. So Jasher chapter 7. Whichever person you want to pick in the lineage of the people right after the flood. Okay. It was there's yeah. He said when I saw the polar bears, I was flabbergasted. What you mean? The warrior bears? Things disappear when dust is involved. That part. Okay. Oh yeah. And their sky iron. It says they went into 2 different species of animals. You would think they would want to go in the more powerful ones. And we didn't always heard about bear kings for a long time. They always, in all the cartoons they show us, it's a bear king. So we've always heard about a bear king somewhere, right? Makes sense. And remember, I think in that book it's a bear man island, ain't it? And it's up in the cold. Where'd it go? Where did I put it? Oh, right here. Was there a bear man? Was there a bear man? You said is. You said this is why bears are at the top of totem poles. Mm-hmm. Yep, bear man right there. Right there, sister. Y'all see it? These are the islands behind, in between Greenway. This is why they want to get up there. This is why they want Greenland. I'm sorry, I said Greenway. Greenland and Iceland. This is why they want it. Y'all see all them islands up there that's hidden on your map, but if you go look at it now, you ain't gonna be able to unsee it, and there go the North Pole. Foxmen, bearmen, birdmen, wormmen, greasemen, satyrs, fishmen or sirens. What's that? Parrot men, magpie men, spider men, fly men, lice men, imperial ape men, the planet of the apes, but it's really the islands. They told y'all it was other worlds, and the whole time it's islands. You said Game of Thrones, Bear Island was full of strong women. Interesting. I saw a TikTok. A dude had snake eyes and a tongue, and he said they sent the felons to our worlds as punishments. I believe it. I believe it. I do know that. I do know that. But think about this. Now, y'all saw that was Greenway and what's the name? Greenway and Iceland. And those islands are on here. You said from his world beyond this part. So they don't show up, but they show up. They right here. Real light. Hold on. There they go. Right there. See? These islands right there. They make them really light so you really can't see them. But those are those islands. There's Iceland. And you see the islands right there? It's kind of hard now because of this light. There, you can see them. So they're really light on our map. But if you go look on your map, you will see them. So that book is imaginary, the Dictionary of Imaginary Places. But in real life, it's there. And this is the area that folks was just fighting over, remember? They wanted to get this real, real bad. Could it be because they want these beasts? The ones that have been locked up in the north for a long time? Oh. I remember growing up, they used to say Greenland was a bank that stored DNA in case something happened. It makes sense now. Yeah, that's where the seed thing is, too. Now we know. They got all the ancient... I mean, and think about it. Every time something break out, it's in one of those areas. They showed us with X-Men what they've been on. You said, I wondered why Coca-Cola used bears, too. Also didn't want certain groups to buy it at first. Yeah. Crazy, right? They play in our face. You will... Who can't never look at the map the same now after yesterday? And then having this book of supposed Rika, Danny. Now, because we have that dictionary, in some areas they give the longitude and latitude, don't they? Now we know where to look. Now that we know that the landmass is different from what we thought, because we was trying to look in the landmass that we already knew. Now we know where they at. Because if you wouldn't have never showed us that the island of the bear men and all of that, I would have never paid attention to them little bitty islands right there. I would have never seen them. Yeah. But that is how the beings that was here before the flood, or in Noah's days, are going to come back. Because they're just up in between Greenland, Norway, and what's the name? What did I say? They in between Greenland and the Norwegian Sea and Iceland. That's where they at. a little bitty cluster of islands, and they told us they wasn't real. The dictionary of imaginary places that are not imaginary at all. And they're literally on our map, and they're just not labeled. So freaking wild. They play in our faces. So I'm gonna let y'all go. But definitely go look at your world map and see all the light blue is the land they've hidden. And then you'll see that Africa, South America connect. From there you can go straight up to the Northern Pacific and all of that. All of it connects. Literally you can walk wherever you want to go. Crazy, right? So go look at your maps and look for all the light blue land masses. Girl, and is, yes. You said, so it's just like in the kid movies where they say that the monsters are frozen in ice. Yeah, but they're not, though. They're alive right now. This is why certain flight patterns in boats, you can't go in those areas because this is where they are. But if you look at everything that they hid, all the light blue is actual landmass. Everything that's light blue on here is actual landmass. They lied and told us that, what is it? Atlantis was gone. It's right in the middle. It's literally right in the middle. It's right in the middle. Do you see it? There's South America and Africa, and there's light blue landmass in there, and a lot down at the bottom. That's all landmass. Everything you see in light blue is actual land. And they all connect. This is why they keep lying, talking about only this much of the world has been discovered. Lies. It's all landmass, but they only colored the parts they wanted us to pay attention to. But the light blue is landmass. And they all connect. You can go from Africa all the way down to Antarctica, and it connects right there. There's not as much water as they claim. Right. No. No, because if it was covered by water, why you can't go there? They show us where the water is, the dark blue. They show us where the water is. You see it? But the rest of that is land. It's just land they don't want us to know about. And they all connect. It connects every continent. And all they just tell us, oh, it's that little bit, but the whole time it ain't. It's land, the mysterious lands that we didn't know, they didn't want us to know about. Because the more we read, it's right there in front of our face. Period. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all can go do y'all own studies. Jasher chapter 7. Pick one of those groups of people that came from Noah and his wife and Cush and all of them. You said this is my type of carrying on. Well, homework is Jasher chapter 7, sacred text. Study the races or the lines of people. I don't even think they've been renamed because they don't have a name on them at all. There's no name. There's no names. It's just landmass. There's no names. You said, what time will I be on tomorrow? Oh, I don't know. We don't got no schedule. Especially now since I'm going through menopause. I didn't get on to the evening today. I have no idea. Homework is Jasher chapter 7. The lineage, we'll see on sacred text, it's chapter 7. I don't know what it is in your book. But on sacred text, right after they got off the boat, you're welcome. Yes. I appreciate that. Thank you. So now that we know that Noah weighed, what y'all say, almost 6 million pounds, he was 210 feet. That's crazy. But that also makes sense as to why the Akkadians and the Persians and the Babylonians, when we saw Nimrod, them holding whole grown lions as cats, we talked about that all the time. Remember? Nimrod and them, they would be, and we knew the lion was full grown because it had its mane. This is how those people in Babylon could hold full grown lions like how y'all hold y'all cats. It's 7 in the book also. Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was or not. So, because I know sometimes they changed it a little bit. So it's 7 in the book of Jasher as well. All right. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Why they painted the huge, or they sculpted the huge lions everywhere? What if they're not sculptures? What if those are a part of the beings that's gonna get up when all of this they get released from wherever they had to be this whole time? We don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see though. So I love y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go.